They said no human ever came back alive from Veridian-9. But Captain Rian Kane wasn't the kind of man who listened to warnings. He came for salvage and found a violet-skinned stranger running from beasts the size of tanks. 3 seconds later, his gun was empty, his engine screaming, and his heart was in more danger than his life. The forest of Veridian-9 didn't just whisper, it breathed. Every gust of wind carried the sound of distant predators. Every flicker of bioluminescent moss pulsed like a heartbeat. Captain Rian Kane adjusted the throttle of his hover cruiser as it sliced through the fog, metal branches scraping the hull. The readouts flickered. Oxygen low, radiation normal, life signs multiple. That last part made him frown. He was supposed to be alone out here. "Captain," came the calm, sardonic voice of Luma, his onboard AI. "I'm detecting erratic motion ahead. Mammalian, but large." "Define large," Ryan muttered. "Roughly, shuttle-sized." A roar split the air, deep enough to shake the cruiser's frame. Through the mist, something moved, huge, fast, and angry. And then he saw her, a woman, no, not human. Her skin shimmered faint violet under the scattered light, her silver hair tangled and streaked with mud. She was sprinting across the clearing, a long shard of crystal clutched to her chest. Behind her, 3 boars the size of armored trucks thundered through the trees, tusks glowing with embedded circuitry. Instinct overrode logic. Ryan gunned the engine, cutting across the beast's path. "Hey!" he yelled, though they couldn't hear him over their own fury. The cruiser slammed between her and the charging monsters, plasma rounds erupting from the mounted cannon. One boar screeched, smoke pouring from its cybernetic eye. The woman stumbled, terrified yet defiant. Ryan extended a hand. "If you want to live, get in." For a heartbeat, she hesitated. Then she grabbed his wrist, her touch cold but steady. He hauled her aboard just as another boar lunged, its tusk slicing a metallic gash across the cruiser's flank. "Luma, full thrust!" "Acknowledged. Though I'd like to remind you we're not insured for this kind of insanity." The cruiser shot forward, weaving between glowing trunks and jagged rock, engines screaming. The woman clung to him, trembling. He could feel her pulse through his flight jacket, too fast, too human. When the last echo of pursuit faded, he finally exhaled. "You okay?" She met his gaze, eyes like liquid sapphire. "No," she whispered, voice trembling yet clear. "They will not stop. Not until they find me." Ryan looked at her, then at the smoke curling from his ship's hull. "Figures. I pick up one hitchhiker, and she brings her own apocalypse." The forest shrank to a blur behind them, swallowed by fog and distance. The cruiser rattled, one engine coughing sparks, but it held. Ryan eased back on the throttle as the landscape opened into a barren plateau, scattered with glassy stones that shimmered faintly under the twin moons. The woman sat rigid behind him, breathing hard but silent. Her violet skin was streaked with ash and blood, though she didn't seem to notice. "You want to tell me what that was?" Ryan asked, glancing at her reflection in the dashboard glass. "Hunters," she said softly. "They are made to track me, to kill me." "Yeah, I kind of figured that from the tusks and rage." He tried to smile, but her expression didn't change. When they reached the cruiser's docking ramp, Luma's holographic avatar flickered to life, a faint blue silhouette hovering over the console. "Captain bringing unknown biological life forms aboard violates. She's bleeding." "Luma, I'm not going to leave her out there to become bacon." "Technically, it's not bacon if it's metal." Not helping, he guided the woman into the cabin. She looked around like she'd stepped into another world, eyes tracing the chrome panels, the flickering monitors, the gentle hum of artificial gravity. When she finally spoke, her voice trembled with effort. "My name is Elira. I owe you a life debt." "Ryan Kane," he replied. "And trust me, I've got enough debt already." Luma scanned her silently. "Captain, her vitals are stable, but her cellular energy output is off the charts. She's carrying something not organic." Ryan turned to her. "What exactly are you hiding?" Elira's gaze dropped to the crystal shard, still clutched in her hand. Its surface pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. "This is not a weapon," she said, her voice breaking. "It's a piece of my world, If the Dravex Empire takes it back, they will enslave thousands more. Before Ryan could respond, the console alarm flared. Luma's tone shifted, sharp, urgent. Incoming vessel. Imperial design. Closing fast. Ryan's jaw tightened as he powered up the engines. Great. First the Boars, now the Empire. You sure know how to make an entrance, Elira. The vagrant star drifted in the shadow of a shattered moon. Hundreds of derelict ships floated in silence, ghosts of forgotten wars, their metal hulls cracked open like ribs. Ryan liked it here. No signals, no eyes, just static and time to think. He shut down the engines and leaned back, rubbing the bridge of his nose. Well, he sighed, that's one way to make friends with an empire, steal their toy and crash their hunting party. Elira sat by the viewport, legs drawn close, staring at the stars. Her silver hair caught the dim light like spun wire. She hadn't spoken since the chase ended. The silence between them was heavy, but not hostile, like two people waiting for the same storm to pass. You shouldn't have come for me, she said quietly. Now they will hunt you too. Yeah, Ryan said, forcing a grin. Guess I have a thing for bad decisions. Luma's voice broke through, sharper than usual. Captain, I've detected a transmission ping. Encrypted, short-range, bouncing off the wreckage. Origin inside the ship, Ryan froze. His eyes flicked to Elira. She looked up, confused or pretending to be. You think I called them? She asked, voice shaking. I think someone did. He pulled his sidearm, not aiming at her yet, but close. Luma dimmed her avatar, giving them space. It's not me, Elira insisted. It's the core. It's alive. It remembers where it came from. It's calling home. The crystal in her hands began to pulse brighter, faint vibrations rippling through the air. Ryan felt it like a heartbeat that wasn't his. Before he could react, proximity alarms screamed. A blip appeared on the radar, Imperial signature, big, fast, headed straight for them. They found us, Luma said flatly. No, Elira whispered, terror flashing in her eyes. He found us. The comm screen flickered to life and a familiar face appeared. Sharp features, cold eyes, half of it replaced with chrome. Hello, Captain, said Admiral Kale, the man who once trained Ryan. You always did have a habit of rescuing strays. Ryan's throat tightened. You're supposed to be dead, Kyle smiled faintly. I was. The Empire fixed that. Kyle's hologram flickered across the bridge, half human, half machine. The mechanical side of his face gleamed like wet steel, a faint red glow pulsing under his skin. You always wanted to change the world, Ryan, Kyle said, voice smooth as oil. Now's your chance. Hand over the girl and live. You call this living. Ryan shot back. You've turned yourself into a puppet. A necessary evolution. Flesh is weak. Loyalty is stronger. The comm cut off. Outside, the Dravex cruiser loomed into view, sleek, black, and monstrous. Luma's voice softened. Captain, their weapons are charging. Yeah, Ryan muttered, checking his blaster. I can hear it humming through my bad decisions. Elira stepped forward. The crystal core in her hands pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, each throb bright enough to throw moving shadows across the cockpit. Regan, she said, voice trembling. If he takes me, he'll control the core. He'll use it to bend entire worlds. Then he's not taking you. The ship shuddered as the first blast struck the hull. Console sparked, smoke filled the cabin. Ryan slammed the controls, forcing the vagrant star into a sharp roll through the debris field. Metal screamed around them. Luma, redirect power from life support to shields. That'll give us 12 minutes of breathable air. Then I'll make the next 12 minutes count. Elira placed her palm on the console. The ship's lights flickered blue, systems stabilizing as if touched by magic. I can help, she said. The core can feed your ship, but it will drain me. Don't, Ryan warned. If we die, it doesn't matter. For a heartbeat, her eyes met his, sincere, terrified, determined. She pressed both hands to the console. Energy surged, making the ship glow like a star reborn. The engines roared to life. Luma's voice broke through, strained but steady. Captain, she's synchronizing with the ship. Her vitals are dropping. Hold it together, Elira. A new explosion tore across their flank. Kale's voice echoed through the comm, colder now. I warned you, Ryan. You can't save her or yourself. Ryan's knuckles tightened on the controls. Watch me. He pulled the trigger, sending the vagrant star hurtling straight into Kyle's ship's heart. One last gamble against the impossible. Silence. For a moment, Ryan thought he was dead. Then the ache in his chest reminded him otherwise. He gasped, the air tasting of ozone and burned metal. The vagrant star floated in the wreckage of what used to be Kyle's ship. Now, a spreading cloud of molten debris orbiting a dying moon. Sparks crackled from the ceiling. The control panels were dark, except for one soft pulse of light, the crystal core. It floated in midair, glowing faintly above Elira's still body. Ryan dragged himself across the deck. "Come on," he muttered, his voice cracking. "You didn't survive all that just to quit now." He touched her cheek. Her skin was cool, her markings dim. "Luma? Status?" he croaked. The AI's voice came through the damaged speakers, faint but calm. "Systems are mostly gone, Captain." "So am I, technically. But the core, she kept me alive, inside it." Ryan blinked. "You're in the crystal?" "You humans call it irony, I believe." He looked down as Elira's hand twitched. Her eyes opened slowly, the glow returning to her skin. The crystal lowered itself gently into her palms, light spreading through her veins like liquid sunrise. "Ryan," she whispered, weak but smiling. "We're alive?" "Barely," he said, a rough laugh escaping him. "But we made it." Outside the viewport, the storm clouds of Veridian-9 cleared for the first time, revealing a fractured horizon bathed in pale gold light. "Kale's gone," she said softly. "The Empire will think we're dead." "Good," Ryan replied. "Makes it easier to surprise them later." She reached for his hand, her touch warm now, steady. "You risked everything for me." "Yeah," he said, eyes tired but sincere. "Guess I finally found something worth the risk." Luma's faint laughter hummed through the cabin. "Captain, you're getting sentimental." "Shut up, Luma," Ryan said with a grin. You love it." Elira looked at him, her smile soft and full of something unspoken. "Where will we go now?" "Anywhere that needs saving," he replied. He guided the battered cruiser toward the rising light. Behind them, the wreckage of war faded into silence, and ahead, unknown stars waited. "Let's see what trouble we can find next," Ryan murmured, and with that, the vagrant star vanished into the endless blue of space.